Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 273. Thank you for joining us tonight. Brian's a little sick boy. Brian's got the little coof wham-whams.
I definitely am the sicky boys. I had the fun of dealing with a migraine, the kind that, like, whenever you move your head, it just sends electricity through you, and you're like, this sucks. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Yesterday would not have been the best time to sit and drink beer. I still am sick. If I sound really stuffy, that's why. I'm going to do my best to not cough into the mic, but I am drinking beer tonight, Chambers.
What you got?
And I had to fuck up my tradition of doing my first pumpkin beer while watching the first Eagles game. Because, unfortunately, other than watching highlights on my phone, Friday's game, for those of you who don't follow Eagles, you might not have known, they played in Brazil, and they did it on Friday. I just so happened to also get tickets for the entire family to go see Beetlejuice. So, brought the kids, my mom, my wife's grandmother, and it was exactly the same time as the Eagles. So I was like, God damn it. So I didn't get to have my pumpkin beer. So I'm doing that tonight, and I am doing a brand new one. I don't know if this is their first year releasing it, but New Trail. It's a brewery we've talked about. It's been like the hottest PA brewery for a while now, and it's called Zombies Are People Too. I don't love the name, but it's pumpkin ale brewed with maple syrup, vanilla, and spices. And what I will say is, it's 5.7%. It reminds me a little of the Maple Mistress, which I said is one of my favorites. But it has a little bit more of the actual pumpkin spice to it. Like it's a little spicier, whereas the Maple Mistress I think is a little bit sweeter. This one's pretty damn good. There's something very unattractive about the head style of a lot of pumpkin beers. It's like that like sea foamy, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
It's weird.
But the flavor, pretty damn good.
Now, Brian,
New Trail, yeah.
Before you get into that, real quick, you realize where you fucked up, right?
Go on.
You easily could just go, oh, shit, I forgot about the game. Hey, let me drop all of you off at this Beetlejuice movie, and I can go home and enjoy my pumpkin beer and watch the game by myself in peace.
Yes, I could have done that. And it was, you know what? Seems like it was an excellent game. Barkley certainly went off.
Oh, he saved my ass in one fantasy league.
Yeah, I mean, he was a beast, and I inferred from your tweets, because I didn't watch the game, that the players must have been slipping their asses off on a soccer field.
Why?
It's not meant for football.
Fuck! Are they in some shit? I mean, I'm saying shit dick soccer field in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's probably like one of the premier soccer stadiums in the goddamn world. But they were slipping all over the goddamn place. I was just waiting for someone. I was waiting for Hurts to like rip his ACL apart. I was waiting for it. So, I mean, It kind of wound up happening to Jordan Love, but yeah, I mean, I was waiting for something catastrophic to happen. Didn't happen, luckily for us, but
hey, I mean, here's the deal: Beetlejuice. It was fine. It was good. It like, you know, I'll even say it was. Do I want to use good
for a 40-year sequel? It was good.
Yes,
it was good.
It was like I was expecting a complete train wreck, and lo and behold, of course, Michael Keaton is Michael Keaton, and he still pulls it off. Like, there's some moments where you're like, ooh, but he still is Michael Keaton, and he can pull it off. I would say some of the supporting cast is more the issue. But there were some funny moments, and you know what? Like I said, the kids, they were all about it. They want to see it. We got that sandworm bucket thing, which, when did the novelty popcorn, like, bucket thing become so prevalent? Other than the joke of people using it for dick vacuums, like, I feel like in the past it was just like tins or just plastic with like a graphic, and now they're like full designed things. Like, was that? I feel like it definitely wasn't around when we were teenagers or even in our 20s.
Yeah, not really. I mean, the first one I really remember from the past couple years was like that new Little Mermaid. and there's nothing special to it. It just said The Little Mermaid on it. It was a tin bucket, and it had that kind of mermaid fin fish design on it and shit like that. Like we have one here, but there are like a couple of them, and then they just got way more intricate with obviously the meme of the Dune 2 one and all that crap and Deadpool and all that stuff. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I did want to get a Garfield one when my daughter was really into Garfield, but I just never got around to it. We didn't see the movie anyway, so from what I hear, no big loss there. But yeah, anything to make a buck because no one's going to the movies anymore, so they got to milk the people where they can.
Collectors. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Like, I'm a sucker, obviously, for that. But I'm at the point now, we have, like, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tin, a Spider-Man tin, a Sonic tin, and now, like, this. I'm like, we don't need popcorn enough for these fucking things. Like, what? Like, I guess I could just dump Doritos or snacks or whatever, but I'm like, yeah, it's completely useless. But it is what we do, right, Jim?
We use them for my wife's koozies. For the
Have a whole fucking
two. She has two buckets of koozies, and she has one she takes with her in her travel cooler. She has so. I mean, you look at the room behind me with my bullshit. Who am I to say anything? But yeah, koozies are her goddamn thing. Loves them. It makes for an easy gift to like. What do you call it? Like pick something up when traveling. So at least there's that. It's like, I'll get this koozie from this place I went to.
So what about you, Chambers? What you sipping on tonight?
I'm just going through my beer backlog, so I'm trying to pound out these year-old Rush Golden Ales.
Still got them?
Yeah, I still have some more of these. So here's the thing: like we had people over for the Eagles game, and I was like, oh, I'll start pounding through some of my beer, and then not to say it's a bad thing at all, but people brought beer with them. So when you host, everyone leaves the beer with you. So I'm like, fuck, I have this never-ending cycle of beer that I'm gonna have to go through. I mean, good for me. I'm not going to have to buy beer for God knows how long. But, yeah, don't expect anything new out of Jimmy Wimby for a while on the show. But, yeah, the Rush Golden Ale, it's now available nationwide. So I already told the story how I drove 3 hours to go to a brewery at 8 o'clock in the morning to, get a shipment that they had in because it was nowhere around here for the time. And it's a damn good Golden Ale. I mean, it's getting a little aged and stuff like that, but I'll say for like a lot of the golden ales we've had lately, it's definitely on the smoother side. It's not like the gay beer that was like strangely heavy as it sat in like your tongue and in the stomach. This is definitely more of an easy sipper, but it's a good one. Golden ales are always way more fucking like heavy than you would ever expect. You're like, oh, golden ale, it's just an ale, it'll probably sit fine. And then you have like 2 or 3 and you're like, oh man, it's just like,
yeah. They never do the belly any favors.
It just
now,
coats
is the
everything.
And you gonna save a couple of them and unopen?
I gave some to friends, some to people who I know like Rush. A couple beer collectors in the family I gave one to, and I'm saving one on the shelf up here. So one will always be on my shelf in the game room.
Was it you or me who had the Duff beer, but then eventually I don't know if it exploded. I think it was in a can also, but like I know cans don't last very well.
That is a good question because I don't think I brought back any Duff beer when I went. No, you know what? When I went to Universal, they didn't have like Duff beer for you to bring home. It was when like the the attraction first opened up down in like what 2011, 2012, whatever the fuck it was.
Something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like you can only get the beer at Moe's down there. So the beers are pretty good though.
Did you get Red Tick beer?
I wanted to get Red. I would have loved to have had Red Tick beer, but they didn't have any. They should have done the gimmick or Fudd. At least some Fudd.
At least Fudd. Did you get a Flaming Moe?
I think yes, I did actually. I did get a Flaming Moe, and I had that cup for a while, but then it was just like one of those cheap, shitty plastic cups, and it just like exploded basically, disintegrated. But yeah, it said Flaming Moe on it and had like the vapor little aeration holes at the bottom so they could put the smoky shit in there to, go through the whole drink. I remember it being...
You mean they didn't actually light it on fire for you?
Nope. Blatant false advertising. And it also wasn't made of all the bottom shelf liquor they had left.
And the special ingredient, cough syrup? They didn't have that in it?
Not that I know of.
You know what, Jim? As an experiment,
we should
make it. Make it from, now I forget if they say all the ingredients, but we know is special ingredients cough syrup.
It was made literally of the bottoms of all the bottles Homer had. So we could really just get a little splash of everything we own and put it into one thing with some cough syrup. Oh God, it's going to be hell.
Well, back then too, that was when cough syrup when it was the shit that was actually had it. What's the stuff that made it strong? Was it codeine? There was something in cough syrup that made it much stronger.
Codeine, yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah, which you can't get anymore unless you go behind the counter.
Yep. Gotta ask for that stuff special.
But, yeah, this past week, I know I've been telling you, I was on my kick. I haven't touched Hollow Knight in a week. I did finish Super Metroid. And you finished that for what, our level 50?
No, I just played that on my own like 5-6 years ago.
Okay. I thought it was during one.
No, I think I did Metroid Fusion for level 50.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, that is a great example of what I would call an almost perfect game. Like, as damn close as you can get. I said I had major issues with the controls of, like, the wall jumps and some of that shit. But outside of that, I mean, I really couldn't find much to complain about.
No, I agree. It's basically like a perfectly built Metroidvania world, like how it interconnects and all that stuff. Music's great, graphics are great for the system, memorable boss fights, blah, blah, blah. Control kind of sucks.
Yeah, control is probably my number one issue with it. And the amount of things that you can't in-game. Now, granted, I don't know. I don't have the user manual, and maybe it would have told you. But things like the wall jumping and even that one move where you super run and then stop in the middle and then, like, hyper jump up.
Yeah.
There's nothing that tells you how to do that. So I would watch the thing where, like, the animals would, like, show you what to do. And I was like, the fuck are they doing? I was like, how are they doing that?
Right, that's called context clues, you non-gaming fuck. You filthy casual. You piece of shit. Right, why don't you go write for Game Journalism magazine, Bri? I think you're more than qualified now.
Because I actually beat the games, Jim. I can't. I'd be too legit.
Touche.
But yeah, outside of that, my son has me trying to beat these fucking Doom quests in Fortnite. And they're just annoying, like, so yeah, doing that, and playing a lot of Dead by Daylight. Honestly, that's kind of been my go-to. It's been, I'd say, slower since I beat Super Metroid, but that's kind of been my biggest focus. So, what have you been up to this past week?
I've got a little bit farther in, what do you call it? Postal 2. I was like, the fuck is that game called? Yeah, got a little bit farther in Postal 2. I mean, the game's just rife with all the references and all that bullshit. So, again, you know what's weird about Postal 2? I'll say it's in a review too, but it's just like, you don't need to use any weapon but the fucking handguns, because like the shotguns just spray too much and they never hit anything. The machine guns are like super weak, but like you can shoot a guy 3 times like a mile away with a handgun if you just barely look at him and like you'll kill them. It's like, oh, well, that kind of takes out the usefulness of anything else that you're using in the game, but. Yeah, it's fun in its own way. I'm plowing through it. Finally finished up. Just said fuck it and finished off one of the storylines in Fallout 4. I did the Institute missions. I wound up being 15 minutes shy of 50 hours played. So it said 2 days, 1 hour, and 45 minutes. And I was like, well, I don't care enough to go for the full 50. But yeah, I mean, the game is way more fun when you just dick around than when you do the story missions. Like, that final mission, what the fuck is with Bethesda and, like, their boner for Liberty Prime and making the last mission, like, kind of boring? Like, at least you do more in this one than you do in, like, Fallout 3, where you're just following Liberty Prime. But, I mean, spoiler, I guess, for 8-10-year-old game, fuck it, who gives a shit? Like, if you do the Institute missions, the last mission is, like, you have to protect this one synth as it, like, hacks into Liberty Prime so it can shoot down the Brotherhood of Steel blimp. And... like, it's fine, but it's just, waves of Brotherhood people coming in and you're fighting them off. And that's it. And then it ends. Like, at least...
Are you going back and doing the other missions?
Not anytime soon. I'm good for now. I had my fill.
Because I'm only asking, because, in my opinion, I think that's probably the most boring ending you can do.
Lucky me!
So, no, I that's why I'm asking that. Like, because... I don't verbatim remember, but I do remember the synth one being underwhelming. Like, of them, I was like, yeah, this is, like, it was what it was, right? Like, it's...
It was
But the
real.
other
It was
ones I
really
remember
lame.
liking more.
Okay, maybe one day I'll go back, but that just left such a sour taste. I'm just like, man, I'm good. But it's done. I got it off the list. Finally played Fallout 4. Yay. Like I said, it's way more fun to just dick around and discover shit and do side missions than any of the story crap, as far as I was concerned. And, that Postal, and, of course, my poopy breaks. I'm just still going back to fucking Slay the Spire.
Still going hard, huh?
Dude, I lucked out today, and I wound up actually killing the Cursed Heart on Ascension 15, which these Ascensions, they just stack so much goddamn shit that the fact that I actually beat it, obviously pure luck with how my setup was and, like, getting the right cards when I needed them, but I was just like, goddamn, like, that's crazy.
Nuts.
But yeah, it gets fucking tough. But at least I'm finally like, for a while I was playing it and I would like desperately try to do what I could to just like save a run. But now I'm just like, if I just get to a point where I'm like, all right, this is done, I just let myself die and start all over again. It's freeing. It's liberating.
So, are you going right to Berserk Boy, or do you have another game in mind that you think you want to hit up?
No, I gotta do Postal and then I'll do Berserk Boy because I really want to get these Patreon reviews done. It's that, it's that monkey on the back.
Nice. Well, speaking of Chambers, what questions do we have from this week from our awesome patrons?
Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we will answer on each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. First up, from Todd Howard Sucks. Just spent 4 nights in the hospital. Everything is fine. Great to hear, man. Congratulations. What do you hate the most about staying in the hospital? For me, it is the endless parade of people that just don't let you get sleep.
As someone myself who's never stayed in a hospital, but my wife has, my mother has, I've had plenty of loved ones that I've been there with them. Yeah, I would say that's probably bad. Or if you are unlucky enough, which has only happened surprisingly once or twice with people I know, where you get put in a room with somebody else.
Oh, that sucks.
Awful. That's the worst. Getting a room by yourself is probably the best thing you could hope for. But yeah, the annoyance of I've had to answer for ones I cared about, and like a different doctor or nurse comes in and then you have to rehash everything, even though they're actively looking at your notes, and you're like, why are you guys taking all these notes if you're going to ask me every fucking time you come in? Like, and I know it's part of being thorough. My wife is in the medical field. I know they have to do it, but I'm also like, okay, you keep rehashing, and then they get shit wrong still. I'm like, you asked me this 17 times. I told you this thing 17 times, and you still fucked it up. Like, that to me would be the most annoying.
Yeah, that's definitely the most annoying for the casual stays. Like, when my daughter was born, she spent 2 weeks in the NICU, so there were nights when I would stay there, my wife would stay there, and when they're in there, they're coming in every, 3 hours on the dot to test the vitals, do all this, do all that. So, give the little bottles and the feedings and shit. I mean, she's 6 now, she's doing great. It's, past history. But, yeah, I mean, there was no sleep in there for that, entire 2-week span at the very least. But, I mean, the good thing from it is, I honestly think her being in the hospital that long at first, she was so used to just constant noise and sleeping through it that she sleeps through fucking everything. Like, if you put her down, unless she has a nightmare, she is out for the night. So that's kind of like a blessing in disguise right there. But, yeah, back to your point, just like the barrage of questions and answering the same questions over and over again. Yeah, that gets annoying. Or if you're like me and you've had a colonoscopy before, then the good old finger in the butt's never fun. So that's always a delight.
Keep telling yourself that lie, Jim.
I'm just laying there pushing up a little bit going, you sure? Don't want to check a little more? Huh? I think you missed a spot.
Is it in yet? How do you like hearing that? Ha ha ha.
Now the boot's on the other foot.
Well, Todd Howard Sucks. I'm glad to hear everything's okay. Sorry you even had to be in there. I mean, regardless, even if you're in there for something minor, just being in the hospitals, it sucks in general. So glad to hear you're out.
Yeah, I mean, it was for, hey, welcome to the dad club.
Oh shit, that's right. Hopefully you listened to us. You didn't bring the Switch and you didn't get your ass beat. So
I mean, the good news is that the woman's so beat up that she's not going to catch you.
damn it, Jim.
Or you can just like get a cane from someone and just like, you know, keep him at arm's length. Just keep pushing him back. Going tee.
All right, so what I'm gonna need in our Discord is somebody just to isolate that one line of the woman said exactly what Jim just said. It'll age like fine wine, like your Kevin Spacey.
Hey, I stand by that quote. Fuck you. Look,
You would.
who hasn't diddled a few twinks in Hollywood? All right, it's kind of like just
Damn it.
a day that ends in Y. All right, so why do we have to hold him to a higher standard than everyone else, Brian? That's what I ask.
Don't you dare.
Less talented people have been taken down for haven't been taken down for way worse, Brian. So you know what? If anything, he's the victim.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Next up from Alex Perez. Cheers, Brian and Jim, son of a bitch. Question: what are some of your favorite old school YouTube videos? Keyboard Cat, Charlie Bit My Fingers, Zombie Kid Likes Turtles, Leroy Jenkins, etc.
So this may be a shocker. I'm not as familiar with the old school viral. The shit I remember the most wasn't even on YouTube. It was what, E-Bombs World that we always used to watch
Yeah,
in college. It was so like on that. Now I'm sure they were also on YouTube and maybe it started on YouTube and we just saw it on E-Bombs. But
actually, right. To your
Yep.
point, I was actually going to ruin a little bit of nostalgia for you because E-Bombs was actually like a notorious shithead back in the day. Like we didn't know this back then, but they would just upload and steal shit from like anywhere else because like there wasn't a YouTube back then. But like there was like YTMND and all these other aggregators and Newgrounds and shit like that. And they would steal stuff off there and just upload it on there for like the easy clicks. And in a lot of cases, it got more popular on there.
yeah, that's all we went to.
It was like the Fuck Jerry of its time almost. And even Fuck Jerry's an outdated thing at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know what that is.
They were big meme stealer in the early days of Instagram.
Okay. I would say, like, the old school, you just got to go to the usual. The fat kid doing the lightsaber, chocolate rain, that friggin' Aisha video that we used to watch.
Aisha's a lesser known one, but my God, was that our life back in freshman year.
That was, like, it, oh my God. Like, I hope that kid's doing well. I don't know. He puts his heart into that video.
I hope he got Aisha. That's what I hope. I hope we have the storybook ending.
What were the other big ones we used to watch a lot? I'm trying to remember. Like, those three are the ones I can, like, vividly remember, like, the term viral video. Like, those are the three I think of. It's funny. All those other ones you actually just mentioned, I don't know if I actually know other than by their name. Like, the shorter ones, like the stupid, like, the kid saying, I like turtles. Or shit like that.
I don't know. Brian really loved this one based on Punch-Out. He would just keep talking about this video based on Punch-Out. Don't play fucking dumb with me.
Oh, no. I was literally thinking of the game. Okay. I know what you're saying. Yeah, when you showed it to me, I was like, what the hell, Jim?
I was like, hey, Brian, you would probably like something like this. You terrible person, you.
Yeah, I think those were probably the big ones. I don't know. What about you?
Back in, because I was in computer club in high school. So, you know, swimming in puss as one does.
I'm shocked.
I told this before, like, we never did any of the work we were supposed to. We just sat around and played, Unreal Tournament and Counter-Strike all the goddamn time after school. But, yeah, that's how I discovered a lot of these videos. And I remember All Your Base or Belong to Us. That was, like, the most amazing video I had ever seen in my life, like, circa 2003. Like, that was the one that probably got the way most play. Like, obviously, there was, like, the stupid dancing baby and shit in the late 90s, but All Your Base was just, like, fucking mind-blowing for me at the time.
Was, other than pulling it from X-Men and that little blurb.
Oh,
and
the what do you call it? The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Oh,
Like
and
that.
fucking remember we would play that a lot, and it was the song that did all those references of like everything, and that they all fought each other, and at the end, like Chuck Norris won basically because Chuck Norris was the huge meme at the time.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah, that I mean that's a funny thing too. Like, yeah, the Chuck Norris
Oh,
thing
Mario
for a
Twins,
while.
fucking Mario Twins too. That was like one of the ones that like I watched that so many goddamn times. I still think that like drum beat drop in fucking when the snare drops in the Bowser's Castle part is a fucking bangers to this day.
See, I just think of all the weird, obscure things we did to each other that weren't necessarily just popular things, but like just the stupid songs or quotes we would do from definitely way more obscure. And given our friends between Matt, Chris, me, and you, those were four drastically different styles that like we each pulled something in there, and it's like, Jim, I bet you still hate Cape Fear theme to this day.
God damn it.
So
No, Brian,
little
Brian,
aside.
no, we all know I hate Cranberries, the Zombie by the Cranberries more, but no, go ahead, tell the story.
Of course. So, Jim did what as Jim does, which is we would be in a lecture, and we would always sit in the back, and Jim would just fall asleep. And then when it came to homework time or whatever, he would be like, "Hey, can I get this?" So I know I have it somewhere, but I had the actual green brick iPod, and it wasn't the mini yet. And I was always like having things from movies, like soundtracks from movies and stuff. And in Cape Fear, I'm gonna play like a second of it because I don't want to get copywritten. But this part right here, I would have on full volume, and I would, as Jim was sleeping, I would sneak the ear plug like into his ear, and it would like jolt him up, like the look on his face, because he would be not just like a light sleep, he would be out, and then just burr, 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 burr.
Or if anyone ever saw the Sideshow Bob Cape Fear episode, The Simpsons, you'll remember
that's
that.
another great one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure still to this day, if you ever happen to hear that, you're like,
I mean, as much as I hate that, it's overshadowed by the time you hit my stomach and it sounded like a beach ball, because I've always been a fatty. And just one day, you had the perfect hit, and it literally sounded like hitting a rubber ball, like one of those ones you bounce on in gym class, and 3 rows of people turned around going, "What the fuck was that?"
what was worse, that?
No, the ball tap.
Or when I was gonna say the ball tap that woke you up, and then Mr. Donnelly goes, "Hey, what are you doing over there?"
A lot of memories. So many memories.
Oh, Jim. Fuck, I don't even know how we got there. But yes, as far as popular videos back in the day, Jim was definitely still the more terminally online guy, but he wasn't to the level he is now. He was still in his infancy back then.
I was almost normal for me. It's a relative term.
Yep. But I like that question.
Very nostalgic. But yes, that wraps up the Patreon questions for this week. Once again, thank you to everyone out there for the support. If you're your first time listening, head on over to iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. Make sure to leave those comments and subscriptions and reviews. Anything you can do will help the page. Head on over to patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame. Check out all the tiers for bonus content, game review requests, movie review requests, which we will be doing a bonus episode hopefully this week. Finally getting back on that train. Massively behind on it, but we're going to get back on that. So, and yeah, we're plowing through our game reviews. So, yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Truly appreciate it. And as always, if you're supporting us, get those questions in. We'd love to interact with you guys. Does not have to be about beer games. It can be about anything, just like you heard tonight. So thank you all who have been supporting us. Appreciate it. All right, Chambers. So, man, we talked about a lot of very goofy shit last week. The complete craziness that was Concord. And as you pointed out yesterday when I said to you, "Hey, I can't meet. Let's push it to Wednesday." You said, "Yeah, because God forbid news doesn't come out on a friggin' Tuesday, the day after." And sure enough, you were absolutely right.
always Tuesday. It's always fucking Tuesday. So we're just going to have to start recording this on Tuesday nights because we're always like a week and a half behind. So
Yeah. So what is the, right now, hottest topic in gaming, Jim?
Well, Brian, PlayStation has had them quite the 2 weeks. We had the massive failure of Concord, legendary. And then we had it's a meme already. And then we had the rise, the universal love and acclaim for Astrobot for about 3 days. Because earlier today, we are recording this on September 10th, they had a technical presentation hosted by Mark Cerny, and they unveiled the PS5 Pro. Poor Mark Cerny, thrown to the wolves on this one. But yes, what is the PS5 Pro? Well, Brian, it is a $700 upgrade to the PlayStation 5, which will promise a better GPU, enhanced performance, and upgraded ray tracing and all kinds of stuff like that. But for $700, you can also, that's just for the digital-only version, because it'll have a modular disk drive that you can buy for $80 that you can attach to the console. And also, the vertical stand is sold separately.
We said it with the VR too. We've said it with the PlayStation. What is the PlayStation thing called? The online
Portal. The Portal?
Yeah.
The handheld?
No. The their monthly subscription thing.
Oh, PlayStation Plus?
Yeah. Like, for a company that lives and dies by how good its exclusives are, I would argue its hardware is. To go ahead in a market that doesn't really have a demand for it, to say, here's and upgrade it. And I will say, in the video that's probably playing as we're talking, yes, side by side, it looks better. But for $700, to Jim's point, and you don't even get the disk drive for that. So really, you got to put out $800 if you want the vertical stand, you want the disk drive, like all these things. And they list games that are like optimized or whatever, and it's literally like 10 games. But they do say there's whatever, like 4,000 backwards compatible PS4 and all the other PS5. And they, of course, say it may not only increase visuals, but performance. I saw nothing really but negativity on Twitter for the little bit I'm on Twitter. And what I will say is, someone, and I don't know who it was, asked a good question. Like, legitimately, who is this for? Because there were plenty of people who weren't able to get a PS5. And honestly, my first thought was, before I even saw the $700, let me just say that, I was like, oh, well, this makes sense. Like, I thought it was going to be $500. And I'm like, if somebody hasn't been able to get the original PS5, this makes complete sense. You get the upgraded version. Last gen consoles did that shit. And, it's not, that part of it wasn't unexpected. But, man, that price point. Just like the VR 2, how they're so off base with their price point. Like, they're so fucking out of touch with the market and what people are willing to spend that no one, honestly, but probably shitty collectors and scalpers are probably racing to the market to get this, is my guess.
So, Bri, funny you mentioned that. So I actually just did a little bit of a little Jimmy research right now. What do you think the PlayStation 4 was priced at when it launched?
What was that, 2013?
Around that, yeah. November of 2013.
400?
Correct. Now, when the PS4 Pro was announced in 2016, what do you think that was priced at?
Jim, I'm going to say 400.
Brian, you would be absolutely correct.
It's almost like that was the appropriate thing. I remember the same exact thing happened with the Xbox and their updated versions of it. So what I don't understand is, even with increased performance, because that was always the natural thing, how can they fucking justify $700? What everyone is pointing to, and it's the correct thing, is when you're getting into that price range, honestly, you might as well go PC at that point. Like, you're not far off. Maybe go to $1,000 and you'll get yourself a really, really good PC. Like, I'm sure you can get yourself one pretty damn good for $700. Oh my god, dude! To not even have a disk drive, I don't know what they're thinking. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, maybe had they said, like, not only is it all the updates and upgrades that this is offering, but it also includes a VR2. It also includes disk drive. It also like, there would need to be so many like add-ons to give it that $700 thing that it's like, yeah, no, you're never gonna compete with that. What was the Switch when it went to their like update?
I think it raised by $50 if I remember right. I can look.
I give the Switch, and I've given Nintendo plenty of shit, but what is that? Still only $350?
Yeah, tops it would have been $350.
Like, honestly, and we've said before, PlayStation in the past, and even present.
Oh, Bri, $350.
Yeah.
You're right. So, and the Switch was $300.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm not going to be one to say, like, it has no exclusives, because obviously PlayStation still has some pretty damn good exclusives. But nothing that would make me want to go, I need to drop 700 bones on this. So I honestly think if there are inflated numbers of, like, GameStop selling out or any bullshit like that, it's strictly scalpers. I truly don't believe. I know every system has its fan base. Like, even if you were the hardcore Sony fanboy, you're just going to drop $700 for what? Slightly better graphics and it running a little better?
Even Sony fanboys I know, like our buddy Crooked, even he was just like he used to work for Sony. He liked them so much. And he's like, yeah, this is a terrible idea. It's just like, how the fuck are you selling a system for more than the launch console that comes with less features? It doesn't even have the fucking stand. And like, yeah, I get you're getting some performance enhancements, but one, for the most part, people aren't going to care. And two, a lot of people don't realize this, but you also kind of have to adjust your TV to different performance settings to truly get the performance from your console to like make it show. So like, a lot of people are going to go out there and buy this thinking they're going to have something great, but their TV's going to still be on like fucking standard settings and they're not going to know any difference. So like, here's Jimmy Alex Jones theory right here. Like, PS5 has sold a lot, but it could always sell a little more. So you sell a Pro, you inflate the prices, and you make the shareholders happy. And that's the only thing I can see for this. Outside of that, it's so fucking unnecessary. And like, yeah, it does have its exclusives, but it doesn't have like the hardcore first-party library the past ones have had. And they release so much shit now into PC that it's just like, yeah, like, I get a high-end PC, the graphics card alone will cost still more than a PS5 Pro. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. But it's still just like, it's not that huge of a jump.
No. I just, I don't know, man. Sony's fumbling left and right here. I just think it's a terrible decision. It'll be, with how poorly the VR2 did, I'm really curious what the numbers shake out. When did they say this is coming out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have to look that back up again.
And while you're looking that up, I will say that guy...
November 7th.
November 7th. So that guy...
Oh, here's one more thing. What is one thing everyone has bitched about with the PS5 since it launched? How fucking ugly it is.
Oh.
And they still refuse to... Like, I mean, I guess they're foot in the sand, like, this is just a look at the PS5, but you kind of think at this point they would fucking maybe do some kind of massive shell redesign on this. Like, they made the black stripe bigger in the middle. That's it. Like, it's still a weird-looking fucking console.
Yeah. I don't get it. And who is Mark Cerny?
Mark Cerny, he's been around the video game field for like ever. I forget what his role is now at PlayStation, but I mean, like, he's been a developer going all the way back. I actually think he worked on Marble Madness back in the day. He might have been like the lead developer on that. Oh, and Mark Cerny is the lead architect of the PS5.
And have we confirmed if he is or is not related to Dana Carvey?
I mean, now that you mention it, you can kind of see it.
I'm just saying. That was my first thought. I was like, kind of looks like Dana Carvey. He's very Garth.
Was he turtly enough, Brian?
Damn it! Don't you dare. So yeah, Jim, make bets. Throw them out there. What's it? How many units is it gonna sell by end of year? So they will hit the Christmas crowd.
What, from November?
Yeah.
2 million, I'll say.
Okay.
I'll give it a solid 2 million.
For lifetime of it.
For the Pro, 20 to 30, maybe.
How many has the PS5 sold?
I can look that up right now.
PS5. Yeah, let me do that.
PSVR has only sold 5 million. That's rough. PS5, 56 million as of April 30th.
All right, so I'm going to say...
So it's probably around the 60 mark at least by now, 60 to 65.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's maybe 15 tops. Within a reasonable, like not over a 20-year span, but I'm going to say over until the next console. Maybe 15 million total by end of year. Say 1.5 million. I also don't know how many of these things are actually stocked. Like that was also the problem, remember, with the PS5. Like everybody wanted them, but like they only had so many. So I don't know if it's going to be a similar situation or if they're going to have stores stocked to the guild with this thing. I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
My bigger fear with this, Jim, is this a sign of what future consoles are going to cost?
Fuck. You know what? I have to say I'm kind of pissed at myself for not hopping on the fucking Concord controller. I wound up getting the game, but I didn't get the controller because that thing's going for
You bought that fucking game?
Sure fucking did.
Why, Jim?
Bri, it's history.
No.
It's history.
Fucking no.
History, Brian. History and the meme.
No. There's some things you just don't have to do, Jim.
And it's already worth 4 to 5 times more than what I bought it for, Brian. Jim? That is an investment, sir. Financial genius.
How has that worked out for you in the past?
When I never sold anything back? Wonderfully.
You know what's going to happen to you? The same shit that happened to Rule of the Rose. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be like, this is my investment. Someone in Italy's going to be like, oh, spaghetti. I found all this shit.
Speaking of, did you... spaghetti. Good. Speaking of, did you hop on one of them? You're the horror guy.
So, but then when you wrote me, you're like, they're not shipping to our area.
But there are other listings on there that are already dropping, though.
So I did see. I was gonna literally get the $200 or $300 one, but like you said, they're not shipping. The other ones, they're not dropping by much. I'll say. Let me see right now because I honestly did consider getting it.
All right. So for those while Bri looks this up, for those of you out there who don't know, Rule of Rose is one of those. It's a PlayStation 2 survival horror game, and it's one of those games that exploded in value over the past 5 years. Like copies of it now are going for easily over like close to $1,000, like $600 to $1,000 on eBay. But recently, within like the last week or two, apparently some guy in Italy found like a whole carton of sealed Rule of Roses and just threw them up on eBay. And the value has taken a big downturn. Now they're selling them all for like $250 a piece, which is a lot for an old game. And this is obviously the PAL version because it's in fucking Italy. But it still has done like a crushing blow in the short term to the value of Rule of Rose. So if you're a person who's been out there looking to get it, it's affecting all the other copies. So, hop on it. Like I don't buy expensive disc-based games because of disc rot and shit like that. And because I've bought enough over the years. But if you're like a horror guy like Brian or a PS2 collector, now's your time to strike on that. And that's Jimmy's Collector Corner of the Week.
I mean, one of the best ones I saw that I would even consider would be, it's like 264. It's from Japan.
Do it, Cuck. They're NTSC.
But here's the deal. Would that work on my PlayStation?
I don't believe the PlayStation... I think the PlayStation 2 is region locked, but I mean, you just fucking emulate it anyway and get it for the collection. Just do it, Bri.
See, that's where you and I differ, though, right? Like,
Just fucking
if
do
I
it,
get
horror
something,
boy.
I want to be able to be like, I can actually play. Oh my god, somebody is trying. All right, let me ask you this. This is
All right.
somebody is selling the completely factory sealed.
Right.
WADA graded.
Oh,
don't
God.
look anything up.
Oh, God.
9.8 B plus for this. How much do you think it's on eBay for?
20
You can
grand.
buy- Yep. 19.999999.99. So you were wrong.
Daddy knows his eBay.
So you were off by a penny. So you're completely wrong.
Well, shit. Went over.
My favorite is there's a PlayStation 2 factory sealed lot of 4 games. Rule, Devil Summoner.
Oh, isn't that's a Shin Megami Tensei game, I think.
Yeah. And Xenosaga and Rule of the Rose for the low bundled price of $3,200.
Oh, that's actually
Not
awful.
I'm saying it because it's not bad, because I'm looking at some of these Rule of the Roses, and yeah, I would say the average thing I'm seeing it for is 730, 600, 800. I love some shit ticks, and they know what they're doing. They're still showing it, but it's disc only, but they're still showing the display case, and they have it listed as 200. I'm like, that's such a shitty thing. It's
Classic.
so fucking shitty. And the disc, by the way, this asshole, it's one of those where it's cracked, where it gets like around the empty ring. Like, you know how sometimes there's a little crack. Still $200. Fuck off. Yes, part of me, of course, wants this. You know what? Honestly, this may be the next game I emulate and just play just to see how good or bad. Like, I know it's.
I hear it's not great.
I was gonna say, is it probably like a shitty game?
I don't think it's outright shitty, but I think it's just like it's a name for collectors. It's not like a beloved like actual gameplay title.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that was something else I wanted us to talk about anyway. But let's shift gears here, Chambers.
Well, Brian, let me shift my ass to the refrigerator to get more beer.
Go do that. All right, Chambers. So let's pivot here from PlayStation and their terribleness to Xbox and their Game Pass, which I still argue is probably the best value you can get for any online subscription-based thing.
Well, actually, what do you call it? I actually think it was Crooked again earlier. He was like Sony has the hardware but no games, and then Xbox has the network but no games, and then Nintendo has the games that struggle to run on its ancient system right now. Fucking GameSpace is in a weird spot right now.
Here's the deal. I give two shits about exclusives. Unless you're really Nintendo, these small, very, very small niche amount of exclusives don't make a difference to me between PlayStation and Xbox. There are thousands of great games that you can play, and I'm sorry, with what the picture we're showing, and we've talked about it, what's going to change. I think the best part, or the most interesting part of this news, is that Black Ops 6 is going to be available on day one. Kind of the thing PlayStation was fearing. The whole reason they tried to stop Microsoft from the purchase that they did. We're going to really see how much this hurts PlayStation sales of Black Ops 6. Like, I don't know if that's going to convert people or not, but that's pretty goddamn huge. Because, like it or not, Call of Duty still is the biggest, like, new gaming franchise year to year. Like, obviously, Minecraft, Fortnite, things like that, they're not brand new buys. They're still big on micro sales. But I'm saying on a year-to-year release of games, Call of Duty still owns that spot. So that's huge that you're going to get that day one. I didn't think they were going to pull the trigger on that.
You know what? We've had a lot of stories recently about Game Pass and kind of the struggles it's had to keep up memberships and struggling to get new memberships in the past couple years. So it's almost probably kind of like a Hail Mary to get more people in there, but this is why they spend $1 billion on Activision, to have this in their pocket to use. So, I mean, you might as well, if you're pivoting away from just being a console manufacturer anyway. You know, this is the way to jumpstart it for the new Xbox and all the different things that you have. So, Brian, before we get into that, let's talk about what you get for each of these plans. Mm-hmm. So, Xbox has officially, this is coming to us from Charlie Intel on Twitter. Xbox has officially launched its Xbox Game Pass standard tier. Here are the new Game Pass tier offerings available for PC and console. Note that only PC Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate include new games, like Black Ops 6 on day one. So, Game Pass on PC, you get day one releases, hundreds of high-quality games, EA Play, Riot Games benefits, and member discounts. The core, so Xbox Game Pass core, you get online, multiplayer, 25 high-quality games, and member discounts. So that's the cheap option. Then Standard, you get hundreds of high-quality games, online console multiplayer, and member discounts. And then Ultimate, you get day one releases, hundreds of high-quality games, online multiplayer, EA Play, member discounts, and cloud gaming.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, you can say what you want. When I browsed the libraries of the three networks, if you will, the variety and the game, the quality, I think Xbox takes the cake. EA Play, you might as well just add, if you like EA games, they have a lot of great shit from them. The cloud gaming is actually pretty nice for me because sometimes I will do my Xbox through my PC and it just carries right over. So whether I'm doing it on my PC or my Xbox, it shares between the two, which is pretty nice. Discounts and perks, yeah, that's always fine.
So Brian,
day one releases I haven't touched, except I'm not sure. Like, obviously we're gonna do our midnight release, but I always make it a thing to buy it. So I don't know if I'm doing the day one release or if I'm just gonna buy it. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think I'm teched out at this point. Like, I don't even think I can do the fucking midnight release because I only have my old Xbox at this point.
You got PS5. It's cross-platform, dummy.
Yeah, all right, then we'll just have to talk on, like, Discord or something.
No, you talk in the party chat. What are you, fucking 5?
The party chat, is it going to work on PC,
yes.
On PS5?
Yes. That's how Chris has his friends play with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Come on, grow up, Jim.
All right. I'm showing my boomer side here.
Get out of it. Stop trying to get out of it. I'll tell Sandy she'll let you play. Come on.
God fucking damn it.
But yes, I still think this is the only thing it doesn't state is the pricing.
Well, Brian, I have that right here, and I just add that to the thing. So, Game Pass Core, $10 a month for, limited stuff. Standard, PC Game Pass is $12 a month. Then the standard is $15 a month, which doesn't give you day one. Game Pass Ultimate, $20 a month.
I feel like that's how much it is.
I mean,
it was 17. It's going to 20. So yeah, I thought it was pretty damn close.
Yeah, so like what used to be just standard Game Pass is now considered Game Pass Ultimate, I guess. Basically, the Game Pass branding took over Xbox Live.
Yeah, there's. I mean, shit. Do you remember back in the day, once a year, going out and getting the cards from like 7-Eleven or wherever, where you had to buy your fucking membership?
Yes, sir. Remember doing that? And wasn't it like pretty cheap back then? Were we only paying like $60 for a year card?
Yeah, 60 or 50 or 60. That's how much it was.
The good old days. And then the PlayStation boys would be like, we don't pay anything. But then we're like, yeah, but your system sucks because there's like no party chat.
And then Jim's like, I need my PS3. Oh, fuck, I got hacked.
While in Disney. That was a wonderful vacation.
Oh, Chambers.
Don't think I'm not still butthurt 10 years later. Or no. What is it now? 13.
Jim, you still are mad at Xbox for your Simpsons that you deleted off your hard drive and then they removed the license and then you didn't keep it like a dummy.
Brian, if you want it even worse, I actually think I never bought it for my actual Xbox and I I do remember buying it, but I bought it for my friend for his birthday, and I played it, and I was like, this kind of sucks. I'm not buying it for myself. And then I, like, mind-fucked myself into thinking that I bought it. So, yeah, that little bitch fest in that 10-year-old video is kind of for nothing.
That's the Jimmy standard
It
right
tracks.
there. I mean, here's the deal. The sad part of this is we are in a situation where, like, you hear $20 a month, you go, fine. Is it too much? Probably, but is it ever going to go down? No. It's like just like gas, milk, and bread. Like, it's like all other things. It'll hit a price point. It's never going to come down. It's not a necessity. It's not a whatever. Yeah. It sucks that consoles, that's why I was worried about the PS5 Pro. Is $700 really going to be my new price point for like all new consoles? Now, how many fucking years am I going to have to wait to get to a reasonable price before I'm willing to buy it? Like,
well, like,
I
the
don't know.
base consoles, I don't think ever had a price drop really at this point. And they haven't announced them to have a price drop for this yet. You would assume the base consoles would now, but I don't think they've had one yet.
I would hope. Yeah, and I'm also curious, like, at what point will they, with PlayStation especially, like, at what point will they be like, all right, well, we're just going to stop making the regular PlayStations and only do the Pros? I don't think they'd be that ballsy because they don't want to hurt their record numbers, but maybe. I don't know. Let me see. What a PS5.
Well, it's funny.
It's still 500. So,
our buddy Joe Rad from the PlayStation Collectors podcast was just like, after today, is like, hey, if anyone has a base disc drive PS5 and they want to sell it, let me know. So I guess he's already anticipating that that's going to be going bye-bye.
The PS5 Slim, yes, 500, or you can get a renewed one for $444. So there's that. And now I'm looking on Amazon, I should say.
Yeah.
But
No, those refurbs are tricky because that fucking coolant on the PS5, the launch PS5s, ugh, fucking stupid liquid metal bullshit.
it's like the T1000.
Kind of, yeah.
Chambers.
Leave it to Sony to over-engineer something every other console generation.
Well, Jim, you tell me this. What seems like a bigger crazy idea? This shit going on with these consoles or the Minecraft movie and its trailer? Because, oh boy, did I see a reaction from that too.
Brian, we could call that a gamer's mad, but yes! The Minecraft movie trailer did drop within the last week, and oh boy. Ooh. Is a Minecraft movie a good idea? Of course. It is a franchise that just it shits money at this point. Is this Minecraft movie a good idea? Brian, what do you think?
Well, here's the deal. Okay, so like you just said, is it a good idea? I mean, Super Mario, Sonic, video game movies are not what video game movies used to be. They're making money hand over foot. So, yeah, you take the biggest gaming franchise right now and make a movie out of it. And then you watch this trailer. And what I'm really trying to figure out is, was this just a really bad cut by the editor? Or is this honestly what you can expect from the entire movie? Like, because it could be that too, right? Now, my initial thoughts, honestly, when I first saw this was, okay, when they showed the humans, I was like, did they hire the people that make Concord and say, make me characters in a movie?
That was passed around like crazy after this dropped. But yes, go on.
Like, that, honestly, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, it looks like the characters from Concord. Like, what the fuck is Jason Momoa doing? Like, but then you see the world. You're like, okay, you're doing the human mixed, so basically like Sonic, but kind of in reverse, where it's the humans in the video game world. I guess if you're going to do a Minecraft movie, your only option is go full animated or kind of do it like this. I think the big reveal and the thing everyone went, really, is the Jack Black moment of he's Steve, yet he's really just Jack Black. And yes, he is thrown now in every video game movie, and he's Jack Black. Like, without seeing the movie, you know what his character is going to be. Because call Minecraft what you want. Steve is Steve. Like, Steve is a nothing. And I get they want name recognition and name power behind it. And maybe when Jack Black is in a movie, it sells better to kids because he is so goofy. I don't know. But I think I, like everyone else, saw that and I went, why? Like, I don't get it. There was a lot about this trailer. I went, this is silly. And then my litmus test was my son, who is obsessed with Minecraft. I was like, watch this. He was definitely kind of like, okay. Like he was, some things made him laugh, like the stupid, like the sheep like chewing and freezing, and then all the pig things ran by, and then he kept chewing. Like, he thought that was goofy. He thought, like, once he saw that they actually were doing it like the game, and he's pointing out, he's like, oh, there's a creeper, there's this, there's that. The humans, he's like, who are those humans? Like, that was his first reaction. As soon as he saw Jack Black, he's like, is that Steve? And then when he said, he's like, oh. Like, he was excited, just so excited that it was an actual movie. But yeah, it makes no sense to me, Jim. Like, I feel like it was a combo of terrible editing and, yes, the inclusion of Jack Black. Maybe he is a moneymaker for kids' movies these days, like The Rock in movies. Like, maybe that's just, they figure put him in, it'll help sales. I don't know. But that cast of characters, just from an optics, I'm like, that's fucking Concord. That's exactly what I felt.
Has anyone had like more of a public perception turning than Jack Black in like the past 4 months, really? Because even up until then, it was so just like, it's Jack Black. He's fucking goofy. Tenacious D's great. Everyone loves him. And then he had the whole Kyle Grass joke about Trump getting shot and the fallout from that and Jack Black canceling the tour and everything like that. And people turning on him. Oh boy, are people sick of them some Jack Black at this point. But I gotta agree. When I saw that and I saw he's like, I am Steve, I was like, fuck, it's one of these. You know what it is, Brian? Here's what it is. It's a Minions movie. It's a Minions movie, and they're throwing humans in there like they did with Sonic. So, you know what it means, Brian? It just means it's not made for you, you racist.
I don't think that's the word he used.
Oh, no, Jack Black didn't say that.
No,
wait,
no,
he did?
I know. I'm saying
Kotaku!
Good old John Walker of Kotaku. Who, if you read his other articles and you just read his titles, as Jim said, sorry, the Minecraft movie isn't meant to be for you. And if you read through his whole thing...
Right, it's italicized, so that means for you.
Yeah. he basically goes through his whole thing about how his 9-year-old son is obsessed with Minecraft and that he was so excited for it. And that's who this movie's for. Even though when this game came out in 2011?
It was like Alpha in 2009 or something.
Something like that. And he acknowledges that the people who made it what it is and how big it became are probably in their mid to late 20s or whatever. This movie still isn't for you. It's still meant just for kids. And you just don't get it. Like, it's that... Now, the irony of being the old man and shaking his fist at it is that really annoying thing of being the guy that calls it out, that you're just being the old man shaking your fist. It's like, it's the reverse of that meme. And, no, it can just be a bad movie. Like, even if it's not for you. Sonic is not for us. Super Mario is not for us. You can still make a good movie that applies to many people. And Minecraft doesn't have to be an exception. And maybe it's not. Once again, could be just the fucking worst edit in the world. Jack Black, I've never... I don't know. I think you know this about me. I've always thought Tenacious D was kind of stupid. I thought it's overrated. everything Jack Black's in, I'm kind of always like, eh. I feel the same way about him as I do Vince Vaughn. Like, when either of those guys are in a movie, I feel the exact same way. Yes, they may make me laugh at some moments, but I'm like, you're basically the same guy in everything you do. So what difference does it make that I'm watching this? So I don't hate him, but I'm just like, I don't get it with him. So
obviously he's going to be the Steve that was put into Minecraft, and he's been there for like 100 years, and the humans found a way in, and he's going to help them escape. Blah 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 blah. Shit we've seen 1,000 times.
He's basically Robin Williams in Jumanji.
Yeah, which is a perfect comparison. And funny enough, he was in the new Jumanjis. So there you go.
There you go. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe it turns out to be an okay movie. But that edit, like I said, was terrible. Here's the deal. What no one's not going to like about this is that it's going to make money hand over foot. Like fucking crazy. So whether it's good or bad or not, it won't matter. And this guy's article may be right. It's meant for kids. Every kid who sees this, who currently plays Minecraft, is going to be like, I want to see that movie. So, yeah.
But it's the movie where you just look at it and you automatically know what to expect. And actually, to your point, like, I've always liked Jack Black, and I think Pick of Destiny's like, it's one of my favorite movies. That movie's a fucking masterpiece and a top tier soundtrack too. But like, I saw him in here and I was just like, they're doing this. So even a guy who is a big Jack Black fan, I'm just like, all right, I know what to expect here. Like, you look at every character and you immediately know what to expect. Like, Jason Momoa is going to be the quirky, overly effeminate, even though he's a really big guy. I'm going to rip off Biggest Problem in the Universe. 2 weeks in a row I bring them up. But you look at the black girl and you know that at one point there's going to get a, oh, hell no, out of her. You just know it's going to happen. And it's just what this movie is. It's going to be the most, unless they fully surprise everyone with this fantastic movie, it's going to be as paint by numbers as you can expect.
Which is, you know what? What could you expect from a Minecraft movie? Like, there's also a part of me that thinks that, just like anyone who legitimately decided to criticize the first Mortal Kombat movie, which I'm like, I don't know how you did, because what did you expect them to make a fighting game movie into? And I still think they pulled off something really good with that first one. But yeah, like, what can you make out of a fucking Minecraft movie, really? Like,
you know what they could have done, and probably everyone would have been fine with it? Fully CG, with a fully CG Steve, who somehow finds his way into this world. And you know what? You basically just recreate the Super Mario Brothers movie, but with Steve. Like, he learns to survive on his own. He fights the Ender Dragon at the end. All the same bullshit. You can just paid by numbers repeat that, and everyone would have been like, yeah, this would probably be fine.
So let me ask you this. With what we've seen with Sonic, how successful that's been, where you got the human cartoon hybrid.
In spite of itself. Those movies are good in spite of their bad parts.
Yeah. You got Mario, which is fully CG. You got this, which is another hybrid. You have the Spider-Man animated movies that I think took off better than anyone thought would have.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone was expecting them to be as good as they turned out.
Nah, those are great.
When it happens, and I'm saying when for a reason, when they finally decide we'll make a Legend of Zelda movie, do you think it's going to be CG, cartoon, or live action?
I would be shocked if Nintendo fucks with what works and they see what happened with Mario and they just don't do it again with Zelda. I expect CG.
Now, I know you're not a big Zelda fan. At the end of the day, like, I know you don't dislike them.
Right.
It's not like you're obsessed.
Right.
Do you think...
Yes, I am not a woman on Twitter. I am just a highly online Twitter
I was
user.
actually going to say that. I was going to say, do you think a live action, though, would be pretty cool? If they took the time. Like, take it like Lord of the Rings style. Like, do the appropriate, like, full sets, full, like, things in makeup, like, not just shit CG. Like, if you throw a budget at it that's appropriate for that world, would you rather see that, or would you rather see, like, because animation, I'm sorry, What I will say is, there's always an element of it's a few notches down from if you can pull off a live action.
Yeah.
The best animated movie still isn't touching the jockstrap of a great live action movie, in my opinion.
What do you call it? I mean, it would be cool if they pull it off. Like, they could easily, like you said, do Lord of the Rings. Do it. They would have to do it super serious, though. Like,
Yeah.
It would have to be, like, shockingly serious, which I don't think Nintendo would be brave enough to do. Because, I just fully expect another Illumination team up to do the Super Mario Brothers kind of same movie. You know they're going to have the references. There's going to be a, well, excuse me, princess throwback to the old fucking cartoon and shit like that. So, yeah, I don't think they're that daring. Would it be awesome? Fuck yeah. But will it happen? No. And Bri, are you trying to tell me that what do you call it? The Godfather and Bible Black aren't on the same level?
I don't even know what Bible Black is, Jim. So yes, I'm going to say they're not on the same level.
Bri, look it up.
I don't want to look it up.
Bri, look it up.
I don't trust you, Jim.
Learn something today, Brian. Look it up. A little bit of internet history for you.
I don't want to know what that is.
Look up Bible Black Shotgun. Just look it up.
Jim, I made the mistake of looking up Girthmaster after you talked about it too much. So I am never looking up another goddamn reference you decide to tell me again.
Brian, look it up.
Well, Jim, just like you have absolute terrible taste in movies and things that make me disappointed, let's talk about a company you've supported for way too long and how they're exploiting the shit out of people. Let's talk about your minute run.
My God. This is like low, even for them. Right? Is there anything... I'm a guy who loves me some Sega. I obviously love the Sega Genesis. My favorite console, the one I have collected for the most over the years. Love me some Sega. Even love the Master System. Defend the 32X. Saturn, I missed out on. And the Dreamcast, ho-hum on. But there are diehards for the Dreamcast out there, Brian.
Yes, there are.
And Sega has decided to team up with Limited Run. Much like Konami, they are using Limited Run as their probably one of their new distributors and what do you call it, publishers, which sucks. And it's like Sega should be able to do this on their fucking own, but they're partnering with Limited Run for a whole bunch of useless shit, Brian. Brian, would you like some Sega Dreamcast trading cards? Brian, you could have a Choo Choo Rocket limited trading card. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Jim, why just buy a box when I get the booster box for $125?
And then you can put your cards into your Dreamcast binder for $20. And, oh, don't forget, if you ever, I don't think you can play any games with them, but if you wanted to protect them before going in your binder, you can buy the pack of Dreamcast card sleeves to put your Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh cards in, just to show that you're one of the real ones, Brian.
But, Jim, the only way you're really going to get away with that is if you're wearing your official Sega Dreamcast hat for $32 while sporting the shirt from $30 to $34. And if you're living in the Northeast and it's about to get cold, you might as well throw in your $55 Dreamcast hoodie. The fuck?
Right. Sometimes I don't want to drive. Sometimes you don't want to drive. We can settle this the good old-fashioned way, the two-face way, by flipping our $10 Sega Dreamcast coin, Brian.
What is wrong with it? Like, okay. I'm really trying. I'm fighting here, Jim. Like, as someone who obviously collects shit behind me, horror, video games, whatever, I can always appreciate a good collector. But even the most diehard, like, Sega Dreamcast fan, do you see this and do you actually get excited? Like, I'm really trying to get in that mindset of, like, how do you see this and not be like, that is a giant fucking ripoff? I've gone to plenty of, legit horror shops, and I see the prices they put on fucking horror DVDs, and I'm like, this is a goddamn ripoff. Like, no. Like, there's also a part of me that just, like, if something's unreasonably priced, I just go, no. I don't care how bad I want this. Like, it's a terrible fucking price. explain it to me, Jim. As the internet guy, as the collector of useless shit who bought Concord, how justify this shit to me? Come on.
I can't. It's fucking stupid. I mean, I know there's the hardcore. You know what? Like, if you love the console enough and you're a hyper turbo nerd and you're going to conventions like 20 times a year, I can see buying a t-shirt or a hat or even a hoodie. And, like, you have to be the most hardcore of hardcore. But why? They must have just gotten money up front from Sega, because who the fuck is this really for? Like, I know Sega has its diehard fans, but we're talking about... It just had the 25th anniversary of 99.99. So you're talking about people in our age group who are going to remotely care. And even then, how many of people in our age group are going to care that much about it to fucking put the money out for this shit? It must be made so cheaply that the sales that they do get from it will be, especially for these prices, will be enough to justify the production costs. And you know what? All of it will probably be, you know, print to ship. It won't be like, it's not like there's going to be a stockpile in a warehouse anywhere. It can't be.
So I also see it with this. They show the Sonic X Shadow Generations, their versions, a collector's edition for $250, like, you know, all that shit. You can buy that anywhere, right? It's not just from Limited Run.
I think Limited Run's getting the. I think they're getting the actual for the special editions at least. I think they're the exclusive for that.
Yeah, because I'm on Sega's site right
and like
now.
Also like Valkyria Chronicles, like the HD remaster of that. That's coming through Limited Run. Like they're getting a lot of Sega shit on there.
Okay, so what I will say is I double checked. You can just directly from PlayStation, Xbox, you can buy the game, and there are even like digital deluxe versions that come with some shit.
But not the big statue and all that bullshit version.
No, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, that I get much more than, like we said, a fucking $10 Sega Dreamcast coin. Or the pin, which, I'm sorry, that pin looks like shit. Or $75 for a skate deck that doesn't even look good. Like, make it look good at least. Fuck. I don't know. Maybe I'm too cynical. I will never understand someone who's literally goes $25 for a trading card pack of Dreamcast cards. I'm in.
That's the thing. Like, I can see everything else in one way or another. You want a fucking keychain? Fine. You want a skate deck? Dumb. I don't see anyone who's actively skating, because people our age skating break their fucking ankles sneezing. So we're too old for this shit. So I can't see anyone really going for that, but I can kind of see something for that. Who the fuck is buying $120 goddamn dollars worth of Dreamcast trading cards to put in their Dreamcast? The binder is more useful. I would put Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic cards in a fucking card binder. Fine. And if I was a Dreamcast fanatic, sure. What the fuck is with actual trading cards?
Jim, but here's the thing.
I need Seaman in a binder. What do I do with it? Nothing. Is there a game to play? No. Is there a market value? No. What do? I go fuck myself. That's what I do with this. What?
But Jim, you're also the guy...
Sega fans, stop!
You're the guy that if somebody had that and they're like selling it for $100, the booster pack, you'd be like, it saves me $24. So
well, then it's a deal.
It's actually a deal. Damn it,
That's
Jim.
a bargain. Then I'm a sucker not to do it.
That's my point. I mean, the same way I said, like, if right now any GameStops are sold out of the PS5 Pro, it's not from diehard people. It's from scalpers. It's from bottom feeders, secondhand sellers. Like, that's who it's from. I don't think it's just the diehards. I think that group is amazingly low. So my biggest problem with all of it is stop giving any money to Limited Run. Just stop. They're not a good company. You're allowing them to continue to grow and be shitty, and we've seen that they've been shitty for so long now. It's like, Come on, man. The bigger they get, the shittier they're going to become. They're not going to get better. I promise you that.
Oh, God, no. I mean, though, when the physical drops for fucking the Castlevania DS collection, I'm going to get it.
I mean, let's continue with shitty companies and let's talk analog, Jim.
Let's?
So, they're pocket editions of their analog, and they're straight up based on the Game Boy Color. And this is the same company that has everyone gotten their fucking version of the original, Jim?
You know what? At this point, I'm not sure because I haven't seen. I actually think this just got announced today too, so I haven't had the time to see if. Yeah, at 11 a.m. today, it got announced that Analog will be releasing a Game Boy Pocket inspired version of their Analog Pocket, or the Game Boy Color inspired version of the Analog Pocket, because there is also a Game Boy Pocket. This fucking naming convention is confusing.
Jim, let me ask you something. Could be controversial. Are these colored, like, just like when the N64 did this and Game Boy Color and all these color variants, they're fucking stupid. Like,
I mean,
other than creating a thing for some, like, I truly believe they didn't create it for, like, you get to pick your favorite color now. No, I truly believe they did it for those sicko collectors who are like, I need to get every color possible so I can rebuy it over and over again.
Well, yes, obviously that's the point, but if you're going to be aping the Game Boy color scheme, where the fuck is the transparent purple one? The atomic purple
that's what I was
shell?
gonna say. Yeah.
Analog, what the fuck? Like the most...
Jim, you have kiwi, teal, grape, berry, dandelion, and gold.
Hey, you know what you have? You have 6 go fuck yourselves. Where's my goddamn atomic purple? That's what I say.
Oh, that one is gold, I guess? Oh.
Yeah, the one at the end, that's gold. So, like...
Kind of weird looking.
And yeah, these are going to be released for $250 with, once again, their usual limited supplies, though they say they're going to try to be able to have more of them on hand. And the orders will ship within 48 hours, which, I mean, that's cool. They're ready to go. But again, you're going to have the scalper bullshit that you always have with analog products. And then they're going to magically find another stockpile that they can sell 6 months later. And then they're going to have another color variant. And that's what you're going to get. That just happened.
Damn. No, it didn't. Because it happens all the time, you son of a bitch.
Okay, it started naturally, and then it became unnatural. I'll say that.
Can you remind me, what does the Pocket, does it just play all, like, Game Boy Super, or Color, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance?
The Analog Pocket, yeah, it does Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and it has attachments to where you can play Game Gear and... I think Turbo Graphics and Neo Geo Pocket Colors. So it's kind of an all-in-one FPGA with all their attachments to play like anything handheld related for the most part.
Does this appeal to you?
You know what? Like, I've wanted one, but not enough. Like, you know me, if I really wanted it, I would have gone out and bought it. I don't have one because I don't need it at all. Like, I have a Game Boy Advance, so if I want to play my Game Boys, I'll just play it on that. I get it. It's got, like, a beautiful FPGA, like, a beautiful screen, and, you know, with the FPGA, you can put all the mods or just download the games to it and shit like that, but... And everyone I've talked to who has one seems to love it. Like, even when we hung out a couple weeks ago with, like, Dan and Joe and Michelle brought her fucking Analog Pocket with her to play when she went back to her hotel room, so she doesn't go anywhere without it. But even for a guy like me, I'm just like, eh. But I was also really late to the Game Boy games, so I don't have that, like, childhood love, fucking will buy anything Game Boy related that a lot of people have, too.
Does she have, or can you buy, what the hell is the thing called? That, like, it's a cart that holds all the carts, all the ROMs.
I forget if EverDrives work on it. I want to say I think they do, but I don't remember for sure.
Because isn't, like, in today's day and age, like, isn't that also the thing? Especially with something handheld, like, if it doesn't have the EverDrive, do you really want to lug around? Like at most, you're only gonna lug around 5-6 games.
Well, that's the thing though too, because like, I mean, the appeal of it is to. I think the appeal of it really is to play your original carts, because like if you're gonna shove an EverDrive into an analog pocket, why wouldn't you just go and get an Ambernick or a Miyu Mini or one of these FPGA, pre-built handhelds with an SD card slot that you could just throw shit into? So, like, I think the appeal really is to, like, have that old tactile feel of playing your original carts just in the best way possible.
And they do make EverDrive for Game Boy Advance. I'm looking.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. They've had EverDrives for Game Boy forever. I just didn't know if the analog played them, because sometimes these clone consoles don't play the EverDrives.
Oh, gotcha. Let me ask you another dumb question. With the EverDrives, they don't come loaded with ROMs, right?
Depends. Some of them might come with an SD card, depending on where you buy it from with ROMs. Technically, they shouldn't, because that's, kind of illegal. But, yes, technically, they should just come with an SD card that you can put your ROMs on yourself and with the card itself.
Okay.
But, I mean, like, when I bought my Miyu Mini, like, that came with, like, a couple thousand games fucking on it, on the SD card. Now, I have to get a new SD card because, like, the base OS, like, they give you really cheap SD cards and, like, the base OS sucks on it. So I have to, like, update that OS and shit like that. But, yeah, I mean, they get away with it.
When or have they already figured out an EverDrive version for, like, disc-based? Is there, like, a workaround to, like, if you wanted a console that played your shit other than just doing it on your PC, like, because my emulation pretty much ends prior to the PS1 generation. I know for like all Game Boy stuff, like I don't know of an easy way to like have like a a Retron or something like that where I can be like, oh, I can just do one disc and it has or like even an SD card of something that emulates that shit.
Oh yeah. There are things called modes now, which stands for, I believe it's multiple ocular disc emulator, and basically you would take the CD drive out of, say, your Saturn or your PS1 or your Dreamcast, and you put the mode in there, and it has an SD card slot, and so basically you can use the original hardware with an SD card that can be filled with all the games.
Ooh. That's something, because I have...
They go for like 200 some ish, I think, but I mean, I've been meaning to do that for my Dreamcast. Like, I don't even like the Dreamcast, but if there's one I would do it for, it would be a Dreamcast, or if I ever got around to getting a Saturn, just because it would be so much cheaper than buying the games.
So it's called Mode.
Yeah, MODE.
So, yeah, I'm looking up, like, because I have a spare, like, PS1. But I guess that also begs a question. Some of those old consoles, like, how easy are they to connect unless you get some crazy connections to modern TVs?
No, I know. Oh, that's the thing too. Like, I know the modes. Like, it depends on the console. Some of them are easier than others to install. But yeah, for modern TVs, you're probably gonna need an upscaler of some sort, unless you get them hard updated.
So what you're saying is just emulate on PC.
Obviously, no matter what, at the end of the day, emulating on PC is the easiest way.
Very interesting. Now, I'm, with the analog, here's the thing. I'm actually interested in it. I don't have a collection, but I'm not going to go out and buy it either. I do think it looks cool. I just think how they handled the shit where they didn't have their originals sent out, and then they start releasing, like, glow-in-the-dark versions, and now these versions. I guess they're making enough bank that they feel they can start doing varieties on that shit. How many people, though, let's just say 1 million people bought analogs. I'm throwing a number out there. The people that they're targeting with these color variants, do you think 70% of that original million is just now turning around and buying a variant? Or do you think it's a new crowd?
All right, so real quick, mode stands for multi-optical disc emulator, so that makes more sense. And and for these analogs, buying the pockets, the Game Boy Color versions, I don't. I would have to, like, I would hope maybe 20% max would double dip, Because why would you ever need a slightly... I mean, obviously having a slightly smaller one will be more convenient, for the Game Boy color variants and all that shit. But it's like, if you already have the first one, why would you ever buy the second one? And the second one's more expensive than the first one. Because the first one was $220 at launch, I believe, and from what I looked up, and this one's $250.
Yeah, we gotta have Michelle on, and we gotta ask her about that. 'Cause I'm very curious the drive to do that.
It's been a while since we had the lovely ladies of the Point and Drink Adventure on.
Yeah.
And now that I fixed my fucking router, we can have guests again, so we'll start getting on that again.
Yeah, the collector mentality, and who better than, especially Michelle? I feel like the collector mentality is strong with her, so I want to hit that up.
True.
So how did I saw you switched in the middle of the podcast? You went from your gold to some cans. So what did you finish off the night with?
Well, Brian, actually this wound up being a historic night for a certain Philadelphia Philly. So I wound up drinking from the Yards Brewing Company, their Philly Standard Kyle Schwarber Tailgate Beer. It is a American lager, 4.5% alcohol. It's got good old Schwarber on there, the king of hitting the Schwarber bombs. And actually, tonight, as we recorded, he recorded an MLB record 14th leadoff home run in a single season. And then he also fucking left the game with a hurt elbow, so that's just great. But yeah, Kyle Schwarber, beautiful man. And this beer is really fucking smooth and really flavorful and tasty. Like, it doesn't have like that light beer kind of flavor to it. It's definitely got more mouthfeel than a light beer. But I find a lot of Yard stuff to be really heavy and like not stuff I can pound. This, I will say, lives up to its name. It's a tailgate beer. This is one that you can just crush. Like, this is actually really fucking good.
Yeah, I've had that one before. It is pretty good. Jim, I'm sorry. Every time with Schwarber I see him, I just think he's John Crook reincarnated.
Yes, that's part of why we love him. Look at this beautiful fucking, this meat mountain of a man. Look at this fucking guy.
He's the same guy. That's exactly, like, I'm convinced. It's the same guy.
It's funny, too. I'm going to sports dork for a second. Like, John Kruk, for his, like, as big, like, bulky, like, mound of man as he wasn't a power hitter. Like, I think his best season he hit maybe, like, 15 home runs. But, like, for a big fat guy like him, he hit for, like, 340 every season, which is, like, an insane, like, batting average. So, like, the dude had the eye of the tiger when it came to, like, fucking hitting, but he only hit, like, singles and maybe the occasional double. He was kind of like me when I played Little League.
He liked his hot dogs.
Oh, he loved his hot dogs.
He didn't want to hit up the gym. He just wanted to, you know.
And he is a beautiful color commentator. There are Twitter accounts dedicated to just, like, clipping when he starts going off on stories with the random shit he'll talk about. He is awesome on these presentations.
Yeah, I will. So as I continue to drink, what's funny is I started tasting more of the maple and the vanilla. The pumpkin is definitely still there. So if you are a fan of pumpkin stuff, you won't be disappointed. It doesn't sit heavy, but there is probably from the maple syrup, like your tongue gets that coating of sugary, like where like after two big boy cans, like I think it's a bit much. So 2 big boy cans were like more than enough for me. I'm probably, and even though it's only 5.7%, I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have more than that in a given night. Sugar's a little too heavy for me, but still pretty good. New Trail, like I said, they usually don't disappoint. And I said, I'm not sure if this is their first year doing this pumpkin beer, but either way, we want to say thank you to everyone who has watched, who has listened. If you have been watching on YouTube, make sure you click the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, comment below, let us know what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. Be sure to make fun of Jim. And if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you give us a 5-star rating, we will read on each and every one of these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, everybody.